How's it going, you guys? In this video, we're going to be talking about the best awesome tips for some indoor toy photography. So I'm sure most of you already know I'm primarily like an outdoor toy photographer, but every once in a while I do like to dabble in indoor stuff, and every once in a while I get some inspiration for some kind of fun indoor shot. This video is going to be all about indoor stuff. And so there's 4 things I really want to do and cover in this video. Those are shooting indoors with a diorama, shooting indoors with a digirama, shooting indoors with your pets, and shooting indoors with just some random household stuff. So actually the first thing that I want to do indoors is shoot some toys interacting with some real life-size objects, household objects, and I actually really love doing kinds of photography like this because anytime you're having like a little action figure interacting with a normal life-size object, it like immediately brings this kind of funny humor to your photo that like people can, I think, really relate to. And when you see a Power Ranger this big slicing up a soda can, it's kind of like anyone can instantly relate to that because they know that that's a real soda can and they know that that's a toy, and I think it brings this kind of really cool connection that people can make with photos right away and laugh at them and think they're funny and also be artistic and cool all at the same time. So that's what I'm going to do now, and I'm going to use some little utensils. I have some, just a fork and knife with the figures, and I have this idea of Goku and Vegeta fighting with a fork and a knife and I think that will just be really funny, and it's gonna be on my kitchen counter, which is already gonna, like, you know, make them really feel like toys in the photo. Toys doing things that toys shouldn't be doing. So I'm gonna go set up. I actually have these plastic utensils that look like real metal forks and knives and stuff like that, so that will work really well with the photo because the figures probably wouldn't be able to handle the weight of an actual fork or something. So I'm going to set them up, probably use some sticky tack in their hands to make sure that they can hold on to them, and I'm going to use some cool lighting coming from the window to try and figure something out, but I kind of had this idea in my head, but I'm just going to go for it and see how it comes out. So I'm here in my kitchen and I have Goku and Vegeta all set up over here with my little knives and forks. They're plastic and they actually fit in their hands pretty well. Actually, Goku was able to hold the knife without even needing any sticky tack. It just fit in his hands pretty nicely, which is actually really cool. And so the sun is in like a really awesome position where it comes through this window over here and it makes this really awesome lined kind of whatever impression on there, so it's going to make for some really cool lighting. And also the way I have it set up with my camera right now, the actual sun itself is peeking through and it's right in the top corner of the photo, so I think it's going to look really, really awesome. I most likely will take one with Vegeta in focus and then one with Goku in focus and put them together in Photoshop. I have a ton of different editing and Photoshop tutorials in my tutorial playlist here below, so I'll have it linked over here as well, so definitely make sure to check out a bunch of those other editing tutorials I have in the tutorial section of my YouTube channel. And also I have some atmosphere aerosol, which might look really cool with the way the lighting is right now. And I have Vegeta up here on a wire also to keep him upright and floating, and I have a whole tutorial on wires as well. So I think the shot's going to be really funny. I'm really excited the way it's turning out. I think even the silverware is going to be reflecting off of the sun. That's going to look awesome. So let's go take the shot and then see the finished product afterwards. The second thing I want to touch on for this video is shooting with a diorama, and I have 2 of them and they're pretty awesome. The first one I have is this really awesome Star Wars Smuggler's Alley Tatooine diorama that I got from Dagobah Customs, and I actually did a whole entire video on that entire diorama. So if you want to watch that, definitely go check that video out. But I'm not going to be using that one so much in this video. The second one I have is this really awesome small city street kind of diorama that I'm going to use for this video, and I'm really excited to use it because I actually haven't really used it for any photography yet, and it was made by a friend of mine named Kentucky Cat, so definitely check out his Instagram here below. Dioramas can vary from, you can find very expensive dioramas, you can find very, very affordable dioramas. So in the description of the video, I will have a bunch of links for stores, different places, diorama sellers where you can find some either really nice, high-end, crazy-looking dioramas or some really affordable, awesome-looking dioramas too. Half of the fun with shooting a diorama is choosing a figure to match the environment. And so right now with this one, I got Batman, which is going to be perfect for this environment on this diorama. And also one of the really fun things too is to try to create your own lighting to try and match whatever the environment is also. And I talk about this a lot in my lighting tutorial. So right now I have a little fire thingy here, little barrel of fire, and I'm gonna try and match my lighting to that as well. And then I also have Batman holding some kind of like device or phone or something, and I want to have some kind of light shining up on his face as well. But I'm gonna use my loom cubes and stuff to get all kinds of different things, and also some atmosphere aerosol. Just like always, all of the gear I'm using, including the loom cubes, the atmosphere aerosol, the camera, the tripod, the gear I'm using is in the description below, all linked below, as always. So if you need any of this stuff, make sure to check it out in there. So I'm just gonna fiddle around with the lighting and see what we can figure out. The third thing I want to touch on in this video is shooting with a Digirama, which is actually just using like a computer screen or a TV screen or some kind of screen as a background, which actually gives you literally unlimited options for your background when shooting a photo. And this technique was pioneered, created, named, everything by Jason Young, Work More or Less on Instagram. If you're not following him, you should be already. But he basically made this whole entire technique up. So I'm giving him all the credit for this, making sure he did that. This entire technique I've obviously learned from him. So make sure you check his work out on Instagram as well, at Work More or Less. Really great guy. So I have pretty much everything all set up here. I got little baby Grogu, and I got R2 in that adorable iconic scene at the end of Mando Season 2. So that's what I'm gonna try and recreate with my screen. So I pulled up just a basic space wall, kind of Imperial looking background, whatever, on the screen. And that's what's playing right now. And I have it full screen. And a couple great tips for this to really make this work is, first of all, I turned the brightness on my computer screen and the contrast up all the way. I think that's important because you don't want to have a really well lit screen and then have a really dull background. I feel like that they need to match. Also, with my camera, for my settings, I have my f-stop, my aperture very, very low. I have it at a 2.5. So then the background is pretty blurred out. If it's too clear, I don't want it to look like a screen. I want it to be blurred out. One of the really tricky things to really sell this in your photo is to try and get your lighting to match the way the lighting is in the background. So, as you can see, we got light coming from here, and then light coming from above. So to match that, I have light coming from the side, and then light coming from this side too, to try to match those two things. So then, you know, the whole environment blends together. Then I'm gonna use my other loom cube. I'm gonna have it on more of a white color, but I'm gonna hold it above as well, like this. So I'm gonna get some light coming from above too, just like in the background. So hopefully all of these things will kind of blend and meld everything together to sell the entire scene. And then also another thing too, when you're doing your lighting, make sure not to point the lights too close directly to the screen, or else you'll get a glare on the screen. See that? And we don't want that, because now it looks like a screen. We don't want it to look like a screen. We want it to look like space walls are really there. I think that's it. That's all pretty much it. And I think I'm gonna take the photo now. So before I move on to the next technique, I just want to briefly first thank you guys so much for watching and subscribing to this channel. But if I look at my YouTube analytics, it shows that only 50% of the people who watch the videos are actually subscribed to the channel. So yeah, like I said, thanks so much for watching. But if you're not subscribed, drop a subscribe onto the channel. Helps out so much, plus you won't regret it, because I'm going to be dropping tutorials just like this for literally the end of time as often as possible. Plus we do bi-weekly live streams and all kinds of fun stuff like that on the channel anyway. So yeah, definitely subscribe. Thank you guys. So the very last thing, and I think I might be saving the best for last here, is try to incorporate your pets into your toy photos. And I've definitely seen other people do this before, and I've never tried it out because I only have cats, and cats are very difficult to get them to do what you want them to do. So I have an idea I want to do with Venom and Toxin, or maybe just one of them, or whoever decides to participate. And this is gonna be really fun. Hopefully it doesn't prove to be really difficult, but it might be, so let's give it a shot.
Hey man.
Okay, so I got a ton of photos, and these are gonna end up being the ones I use for just the troopers as is. And I ended up getting a lot more of Toxin. He was being a lot more cooperative. So this one's pretty good. These are both really good. This one's really good. That might be a little too close. And so, take a look at this one though. At first, Toxin was having some fun with them, and then they... These are just like great photos. I'm gonna keep these forever. But then look at Venom. Venom comes over, like everything's good. Venom comes over, starts shaking it up, and look at all this drool. Look at all this drool that we got. This drool bokeh. I think this is the first time I've ever caught, or probably the only time I'll ever catch drool bokeh. There's even some here too. Look at just all the stuff in the air that he just let out after his shake. All right, let's start editing, and we'll see what can happen. So lesson learned with shooting with dogs or cats: try to shoot with as much light as you possibly can and a fast shutter speed, because if you have a window of opportunity where the dog or cat is in the right place, you gotta take that quick. So a fast shutter speed really helps. I would definitely recommend that. But either way, shooting indoors has so many opportunities, way more than just the ones I rattled off in this video. So if you have any other ideas for indoor toy photography stuff, let us know in the comments, and share your ideas with everyone else too, so we can all learn from each other. But I hope this video was helpful. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.